Hello, fabulous superstar Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of November 2024. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological month, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now. Boy, is it a very special time. And it truly is so special now. Powerful energies are with us. And it starts early in the month, right out of the gate. We have a powerful new moon set to take place in your opposite sign. This new moon will speak in supreme harmony with Saturn. And that brings with it the promise that whatever new begins now, it has the potential to bless your life for a very long time to come. This new moon is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with partnerships of all kinds, including business partnerships and professional alliances. The time you spend one-on-one with others, or the new people that you meet where you get to have that one-on-one exchange, can end up benefiting you in all kinds of ways going forward from here. Especially in the context of that beautiful Saturnian energy, chances are you might be connecting with new people at social events or other types of gatherings, including professional gatherings. Those new connections can help you to move towards greater success in your own life, especially in the fullness of time. Meeting a power player now could have a big impact for you. I'll talk more about this new moon when we get to the love portion of the video, because I think for many Taurians, this is going to speak in the context of love. We will have this month's full moon take place in your sign. Normally, you get one full moon per sign per year, and this is your moment. This is your moment to understand what you really feel, and the answers just might surprise you. It is this full moon that is hand in hand with Uranus in the sky. That brings with it a surprise a minute, a shock a minute, an unexpected twist and turn and development. And it also brings with it new insights. Like, it's a wild card factor that we have here. But here's the thing. The full moon is also speaking in harmony with Neptune. That brings with it inspiration and hope and healing. It's also speaking in supreme harmony with Pluto. And it is Pluto that will just 4 days later change signs, moving back into the top of your sky. Now, I'll talk about that in just a little moment, but I wanted to mention that this particular Pluto trine, it's what astrologers call a true trine, meaning that the elements are lining up. There's that much more power and focus available to you. This is an incredibly important moment for the Taurians out there, as this full moon is full of surprises, but there's also transformation. There's truth here, and that truth might have you scrambling. It might have you feeling liberated or inspired, but it's truth nonetheless. And there's a sense of commitment involved here. So it's you that's seeing yourself differently, what matters to you most, what matters to you first. But whatever that truth is, it strengthens you, and you are deeply committed to it at this time. But here's something else. Hours before that full moon, literal hours before, Saturn goes direct. And Saturn will go direct in a friendship part of your sky. And you are about to see a certain friendship or your responsibilities to a group or to another very differently in some way. This is reality check energy. And so think about this. It is Saturn that's a reality check moment, right? It's the kind that this is what the facts are telling you. But Uranus is also a reality. It's the kind that feels like it comes out of nowhere, but it's like shining a really bright light on what the truth actually is. So on all sides, you are getting this energy that says, here is the truth. Capital T's on both, right? Here's the truth. What are you going to do about it now? How are you going to respond? What will it change for you? And I'll tell you this, the answers ultimately will be found within yourself. They'll be found by you getting clear on who you are. And from there, you're going to know what to do in terms of how you want to relate to others, who you want to deal with, who you want to interact with or not. Your truth will be your own, but if it's your truth, then it's worth listening to and honoring. Now, I mentioned Pluto. Pluto is going to move back into the top of your sky on the 19th of the month. And that means that at the full moon, Pluto is at the very end of the sign that it's been in for the better part of, well, since going back to 2008. It's a long time, and we're at this moment of culmination. We got a little taste of the energy of Pluto at the top of your sky in 2023, a longer taste this year, earlier this year. And now here we are. We are embarking on a brand new journey, 20 years in the making. Whatever happens in the second part of this month, especially the last 10 days of the month, I want you to consider what was happening in your life in the first days of January of this year, and even going back to what was happening right around the first to middle days of June of last year. And even if we look at it more sooner, if you will, think about what was taking place in your life in the first days of September. And I say all this because Pluto is now coming back to where Pluto was at those key time frames. And so whatever's happening now is going to help you to understand those key time frames differently in some way. It will hearken to those key time frames differently, but it is also different. It's new. And this is the beginning of the journey, like the real journey now begins. And so what didn't work for you before, you're going to know it. It's going to change your pathway forward. What it was that did work for you, your clarity about some truth about yourself, now you connect with it and understand what it is that you want to do next and what it is for you to understand what a higher, more loving vision for your life just might be. Well, you'll spend the next 20 years finding the right answers for you. On the 25th of the month, Mercury goes retrograde, and it was the 7th of November that Mercury went into shadow. And so we get to the 25th, here's the retrograde kicking in. The retrograde is going to take us into next month, middle of next month. Mercury goes direct at the beginning of a new year. Mercury will leave shadow. And so I say this too because this Mercury retrograde season is spent entirely in one part of your sky, having to do with profound change, truth, transformation, but also dealing with financial institutions. I would invite you to be very cautious, be very careful about your interactions with financial institutions and making financial agreements now. The terms just might not be what you think they are. They could end up being something really different. Given the key contacts that Mercury is set to make, in particular, I'm thinking about its ongoing connection with Saturn. Well, all of that suggests that, again, what you think it is, what it actually is, having to face some difficult truth, having to really look at what your expectations were and what the reality is. Well, there could be this really big disconnect there. And so pace yourself at this time. It is a wonderful energy to consider whom you owe to and what do you owe them. What do you owe others, whether it's institutions, whether it's money, whether it's goodwill, whether it's care. Your answers are going to be uniquely your own, but I think these are going to be questions that you're exploring as part of the larger Mercury retrograde season. If you do end up creating new financial agreements, again, what you think it is, it may not be that. And the terms might actually be a lot more restrictive than you realize. And so pace yourself. If you know that you really got to get a new credit card, like right now, I would say do that at the very beginning of the month before we get the shadow period kicking into gear. Outside of that, you might find yourself returning to some process of transformation that you might have picked up before, and then you let it go, and now you pick it up again. And that transformation might be psychological, it might be therapeutic, it might be physical. Regardless, though, this is a time when you are reflecting a lot more deeply about what meaningful change is for you and how you're going to go about aligning with it. Where it comes to matters of love, I'm going back to the new moon at the start of the month because a new moon in your opposite sign does suggest that someone is there to help you to understand where you are in love and how you feel about it. It is you understanding what partnership is for you and feeling a sense of a brand new beginning. So for those of you open to meeting someone new, well, with this new moon, it is very likely that you are going to meet somebody. It tends to be the case. Now, again, it normally is so that you can check in with yourself to understand where you are in love and how you feel about it. But a real opportunity could present itself to you. With Saturn speaking in supreme harmony, it's like there's long-term potential here, and you are wanting to play the long game as well. So, I like to say pace yourself and be yourself. You really want to do that with this new moon, because if something is or has the potential to be something stable, to be something more, then you can be patient with it. But it's possible that when we are not patient with it, that we sort of undo whatever good could have been done if we just allowed ourselves to pace ourselves. So your answers are going to be uniquely your own, but do pace yourself at this time and stay connected to yourself and what it is that you're really feeling as part of connecting with new people now. For those of you just starting to date someone, this is either a new beginning with this person, moving towards partnership, or it is realizing this isn't for you and making a mature, responsible choice that helps you to feel good about you. A new beginning must take place here. It could be with this person or someone else, but that new beginning could also be realizing that you want to start again, not necessarily with this person at all. If they're not partnership material, that truth will be very clear to you. But if they are, you'll likely want to and feel inspired to connect deeply. And for those of you in an established bond, your partner is going to come into focus in some way at the start of the month. The overwhelming majority of Taurians are going to find a new understanding, a more stable path forward with this person that you love. There is going to be a small percent out there, if you have felt for a while that maybe you're not in the right relationship for you. This is where you get a new perspective and you get to be really honest with yourself about what's really going on with you. Is it really the relationship, or is it that you are coming to understand that it may not be the relationship? It could be something else happening within you. Is your partner supportive of it? Can they provide stability, whether it's emotional, whether it's another perspective? These are going to be guiding considerations now. And where relationships are good, this new understanding with your partner is only going to make it stronger. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. It is a jam-packed month. There is so much going on here. But if I had to pick one thing, I would say the full moon in your sign is a really big deal. A full moon in your sign happens normally once a year. And when it takes place, it is you being illuminated, your truth and who you are becoming a whole lot more clear. You add to this Uranus, hand in hand, even with all that harmonious other energy playing out with Pluto, with Neptune. Still, there's this surprise wild card factor here. You are about to know yourself very differently, see yourself very differently, understand who you are very differently than before. And as you gain these valuable insights, it puts you on an accelerated path towards just becoming more you in a way that you love. Thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership Rate at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com or TheFutureIsMagical.com. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.